Hi, my name is Javier and I will be guiding you through this presentation of Quick Talk, a vocabulary learning app. First of all, I want you to know Henning Schulz. Henning is a 32-year-old man living in Hamburg. He worked since the last 4 years as a nurse in a local hospital. He's the type of person that trains at the gym from 3 to 4 times per week. His work shifts are usually very long and with little time for himself. You could say that he's the type of person who loses attention very fast. That's why he likes to play games with his patients to keep himself engaged in a conversation with them. He really likes to make people smile, just as he loves Italian food. He is just like all of us trying to make his life more meaningful. He wants to live in a different country, probably find a girlfriend, and move definitely into another culture. For sure, he thinks that the best way to do this is by learning a new language. Here are some of his quotes. I have been working the last 4 years as a nurse at the Children's Hospital. I feel it's now time to get out of my comfort zone and try new things. From now, in 1 year, I want to try my luck in Italy and maybe move there. While at work, we have to be always aware from the patients on the floor. Usually, we have in every 2 hours like 15 minutes to distract. During night shift, I would love to play something rewarding where I learn something new. I love to hear podcasts. It's the best when I'm training at the gym or when I'm biking to work. As we, as team, came in touch with Henning's story, we realized that to make his dream to start in some place, we have to create an application that help him play and learn at the same time in 5 minutes lessons. We need to research about how we can create games in augmented reality that users find fun and easy to play with, and combine them with a structured vocabulary lesson using all resources like flipcards or repetition. In this sense, our mission is to make learning systems adapted to new technologies, offering new tools and games to play with fundament on academic content. We created our first prototypes starting with the development of 2 user flows. The first one was created using a task analysis that started from the moment a new user was entering for the first time at the app, and the success criteria was for the user to establish the language, the difficulty, and the subject that they wanted to learn. The second, the entry point of the task analysis was for existing user to run a quick test, and the success criteria lay on if they can get the result and eventually their progress. For this, we needed to create at this starting point a sign-in page, an onboarding page, administration page, a home page, and a way to run a test and a page for settings. At this very early stage of development, we apply a very low fidelity prototype. We could just iterate and immediately start sketching, and in seconds will be ready to be tested. We made 2 different navigation systems as a way of keeping the design open for new ideas and not just to stick with a specific way of working. The first wireframe gives the opportunity to the user to log in immediately, but also for new users to learn how the app works and what are the interesting features in it. We create an admin area where the user could choose the course that they want to study, the level of difficulty, and the subject that they want to learn. For the second wireframe, 2 quick test buttons were designed to experiment which one would be more useful for the user, one at the home page and one at the menu bar. Both of them would lead the user to a quick test. Then we created a usability test in 4 tasks. On the first run, it was not so bad. The user could read the onboarding but came with questions like I don't understand what didactic filters means, or I don't think that anyone keeps downloading podcasts, people now only streams. Also, this user could easily set a new learning goal and even try to start learning. Then, the moment of the first testing of our private experiment with task number 3 was coming, and it totally failed. The user was very confused, pushing all the buttons that it could mean quick test. The user was totally lost in the app until it managed to run a test and finish it. But then it came all too real when we realized that there was no page for the user to check its improvement. From the whole time researching about new learning tools, we lost from sight putting an improvement page. On the second run of the test went even worse. The user could only do effective one task out of 4. There was a lot of confusion between login and sign in. The user could not set a new learning goal because it could not save the settings properly. It could not also run a test or even less to check its improvement. The third test, it became a little bit better. The user could easily sign in, set a vocabulary goal, but sadly it needed guidance to reach the test button. But from other testers, this user wanted to check improvement in the admin area. This is what's new for us because it indicates us that we can design an existent improvement page in this section, something what they didn't saw at the moment of creating for this page. Our test report was a catastrophe. We have every number of the scale of severity, from one minor mistake like names or definitions to massive technical issues like not having a page where the user can see his own improvement. The first important mistake that we did was not making clear on the onboarding about what the user can do within the app. Then we needed to find a way that new users and existing users could smoothly access a different types of information. Third, it was to decide one type of navigation system so the user could easily make a simple task like run a test or go to homepage. Our most important insight for this usability test is the creation of a screen where the user could check his own improvement and place this screen at the administration area. Thanks to this usability test, I was able to create a new digital version of QuickTalk, a digital prototype with an invitation button for new members, which would lead them to a more explanatory onboarding page, which right after new users could register with their email. For existing members, they can only sign in and reach already the homepage. The homepage now works in harmony with the menu bar, offering only one button for test. Now, the admin area, the user can see which options are selecting before they can save it. As well, the levels of classification had more popular names. And finally, adding the progress page to the admin administration so users can see their progress. Even though I have reached a very impressive achievements in the short time of learning, I know that I still need to keep developing this project to reach the goals that we put to make Henning's dreams to come true, which they are to invent and develop a filter game feature. Imagine how these games will go, talk with specialists in teaching on how these games could be and how they can be tested. To create a system for premium users or advanced users to connect with each other as a tandem video calls when they can prove their pronunciation. I think a system that they can talk about the same subject that interests them, or how can we connect people through learning. It's also important to integrate other platforms or lifestyle like Spotify to integrate playlists and podcasts to our content so people can learn using tools that they know and enjoy. And of course to develop the rest of the features of the app. The end is not yet at all. Still need to create how lessons will go and how card systems will be. With this introduction to UX design, I honestly have to say that I learned that. First, user experience englobes the whole process of putting the user in as the main protagonist of the design process. It's usually believed that this expression can only work in the world of app development, but actually reach every aspect of the human exchange nowadays, from interior design, featuring design, editorial design, clothing design, etc. Every product that needs to be designed nowadays, it has to be designed putting the user, the future consumer, at its first position. This is a new approaching of design process that makes the whole end product practical, sustainable, and successful. Second, in every new endeavor, a designer should do a little market research, how other similar products look like what other designers do, or how other designers do what you want to do. Competitive analysis gives the designer the opportunity to inspire itself in the creation for something new. For me, for example, I didn't have any time experience with vocabulary apps. After doing my competitive analysis, I found myself very interested in how a person can learn a new language with using an app. I also learned that architecture information is one of the pillars for a better wireframing. The structure of the content is the basis of the creation of an abstract concept as a vocabulary app. It's only when you put your ideas in categories and terms into label that all the information that we need to put on an app start taking shape that other person can intuitively discover. The next is that low fidelity prototype is very useful and cheap way to create touch-friendly mock-ups of apps. This was my first time that I was in touch with this type of sketching prototype, and I think it's very sweet and nice to people to test something that is still on paper, like feeling of analog in the digital world. At the end, I think that the most important thing that I learned about this introductory course is that in order to integrate the user in the design process, it's necessary to run utility tests constantly. Research had shown that running 3 different tests on 5 target users helped to find 80% of the problem of each time. Using this tool and test reports is the only effective way that we can take design decisions that really will improve the experience of the user. Thank you very much.